This is the Ontario RD7, a knife that was modified by a subscriber and supporter of mine, and I think the modifications that he did really brings to light the potential that Ontario Knife Company always had. That's what I want to talk to you about today, the potential that Ontario Knife Company had and how this knife displays what I hope the brand will do as it goes forward in the future. The modifications to this blade include shaping of the original blocky handle scales, stripping the kind of crappy powder coat that they came with, and I'm sure a little bit of convexing of the thick edge. A little bit of backstory here, hopefully to help. So when I first started this channel like a decade ago, Ontario Knife Company was my favorite company, and I really valued the performance that they could offer versus the price, the value, if you will. I started having problems with Ontario when I started having problems with their quality control, and the brand themselves seemed to be really disconnected from the market and from their customers. And slowly over the years, they went from being one of my favorite brands to honestly one of my least favorite brands for this moment. Now, ultimately, this was because the guy at the top, rot always starts at the top and works its way down. Their CEO was absolute trash. I did a few videos about this, and I also called their demise like 3 years before it happened. Honestly, as it was happening, it just wasn't public information yet. A lot of people got really mad about this. There were some heated emails that went back and forth through distributors. They denied it, but here we are. And so this blade, to me, the reason that I'm doing this video, this blade represents some of the changes that they could have and should have made. And again, it shows a direction that I hope Blue Ridge Knives will take with this iconic brand going forward. One of the reasons that this blade is so important to me for that reason, this is the RD7 again, designed by Justin Gingrich at GTI Tactical. I believe, by the way, that he will make you one of these knives custom if you request it. But Ontario, as a government-centric brand owned by Servotronics, liked to get lawyers involved. They liked to make money in a way that other than earning it, right? Just by quality and practicality. So one of the early things that really bothered me in my early days on blade forums was that Ontario used to manufacture for what is now ESSE, or Randall's Adventure Training. And when Randall's Adventure Training wanted to move away from Ontario, Ontario got lawyers involved and retained the rights to their name, Randall's Adventure Training, essentially keeping their designs and continuing to produce them. Of course, Randall's Adventure Training, or Rat Cutlery, became ESSE. And what is crazy is Ontario and ESSE made almost the same knife throughout these years, with ESSE making these knives properly and Ontario making their entire brand around having these stolen designs and selling them cheaper than ESSE could, which came at the cost of quality control. There are going to be many people in the comment section telling you how much they love their Ontario knife. I have loved quite a few of my Ontario knives. I've also had an absolutely insane experience with them, with quality control, with having defective knives that I have returned and received as a replacement another defective knife, returning that knife and receiving yet another defective knife. I have seen knives come in from Ontario that never ever should have left the shop. Not just as factory seconds at a discount, not as factory thirds. They should have been destroyed, melted, or sold for scrap. But instead, they were sold to customers, usually on Amazon, in the hopes that the customers would not know any better and truthfully probably would never use their knives very much in the first place. What the modifications to this blade mean to me is a knife with handle scales that aren't literally a block of micarta, just 2D cut and then just slapped onto the blade. So slightly shaped. These scales happen to be somewhat busty in shape, in my opinion. We have removed the powder coating. I would hope that going forward, Ontario would use Cerakote. I think it is a good look for them, but I do like stripping blades as well. Cerakote is much thinner and has much less friction. That powder coat is very detrimental to performance. And then quality control. My friend here has really taken the time to make this blade what it should have been from the factory, and it is an absolute performer. So this knife is going to chop acceptably for its size. The RD9 would make for a better chopper. It's going to baton all day, every day, like there's tomorrow, and it's going to be comfortable doing it. And so it really represents, if a quality standard could be achieved and maintained, what Ontario Knife Company could be going forward. These designs from Justin Gingrich, as long as Ontario was respecting his name and giving him his dues and royalties or payment as they should, it represents a line of knives that could be unique to the brand, that could perform extremely well. They are thick boys that look great, and I think that they did and could continue to fill a production niche that is not being filled currently on the market, being thicker and beefier than an Essie, but also potentially being a little bit thinner behind the edge, and maybe in some ways, without getting too political, different and or maybe better than a Tops. I am excited about Ontario going forward. I do not have any news from Blue Ridge Knives. I was in direct contact with them as this was going on, and I hope to be again. If anything pops up new, I will let you know. Until then, let me know what you think, and let me know what you hope to see from a future with Ontario Knife Company. Right now, again, I believe Blue Ridge Knives owns the rights to everything from Ontario Company and all of the brands or product lines from Ontario Knife Company. I could be wrong about that. I hope that we don't just see Blue Ridge Knives selling imported models like the rat folders. Although they are great, I hope that's not the extent of what they do with the brand, and or selling the budget kitchen knives from their Old Hickory line. Their Old Hickory knives I bought a set of, and when I received them, even in their heyday, the knives were not even finished. In fact, some of them were so thick behind the edge that I don't think, like I said, they weren't even finished. They weren't even ground all the way. And the problem is, an affordable knife that is decently finished can be affordably finished by the end user, or can be touched up or honed by the end user. But if you're talking about something that really needs to be properly finished, that needs primary grinding to be completed, there are some people out there who can do that. But chances are, if you're not already a custom knife maker with a 2x72 grinder, you cannot do it properly in a way that is worth the time. And so I mean by that is, you could buy a knife for $0, but if you need to have a $2,000 investment to finish the knife, all of the skill that goes with it, and then you need to spend 2 hours of your time, that knife is now worth $200. Is the end product worth $200? Probably not. Even worse, let's just say you're a regular guy that has the skills but not the right equipment. You could make $20 an hour working at your job, and it takes you 6 hours to finish the knife. You now have $120 of your time invested in this blade. Is that blade worth $120 when you're done with it? Absolutely not. So the problem is buying unfinished knives, guys. No matter where you are in life, the chances are, unless you're doing it for your own enjoyment, it's not worth it. I saw a lot of that coming out of Ontario Knife Company. So that's what I've got. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know where you hope to see Ontario going in the future. And I look forward to talking to you about it because this is what I love. I'm a knife fanatic. I love the knife industry, and I hope to see the knife industry move forward in a positive direction for all of us in the future. I hope that you have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you there. Check out the description box below, by the way, if you'd like to support this channel. I myself own Exodus Knife and Tool. My knives are manufactured for me by White River Knife and Tool. I have S35VN currently, and they all have a no questions asked lifetime guarantee on standard options. So I have that as well as some other things in the description box below. Please feel free to check that out. Thanks again.